Begin the Economic Development and Planning Committee at 1:03 p.m. Roll call, please.
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in.
You? Okay. At this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the June 16th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Nobody to oppose. So, thank you. Matters related to the committee.
Resolution 2025-0239, authorizing an amendment to contract number 4663, a development loan in the amount not to exceed $10 million to Playhouse Square Foundation for the benefit of the Lumen at Playhouse Square project to extend the maturity date to September 13th, 2028 upon payment of $3.5 million in principal plus accrued and unpaid interest on or before September 30th, 2025.
And who is here to speak on this?
Brian Edwards, Department of Development. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the opportunity to come before you. Like the resolution states, we are presenting the request on behalf of Playhouse Square Foundation to currently extend the maturity date 3 years after the payment of $3.5 million of the $5 million outstanding, where the remaining $1.5 million will be amortized over 3 years at 8.5%, which is works in with what our current policy is on setting the rate of interest. The project, I don't know if the president, there it is. As you can see, if you guys aren't familiar with Playhouse Square Foundation and the Lumen Apartments, this is just another addition to really create the Playhouse, or create a viable district that has housing so they can participate in those activities. And what we're looking for right now, currently the project has a 90% occupancy rate, and as was read into the record, this was originally a $10 million loan at 3.5%. And then in 2024, we did a extension for 1 year with the pay down of $5 million. And then what we are asking for right now is the extension for the $1.5 million at 8.5%. Currently, like I said, is occupancy of 90%. And really the purpose behind this, this is a big project for downtown. It's a place-based mixed-use project as it was intended to be. The project brought new residents to downtown Cleveland, and really it promotes our transit-on-demand transit-oriented development, which is by locating housing near transit. So the request we received is due to ongoing market conditions that have caused a delay for the development or the disposition of the project to be liquidated at this point where the market's at. And basically where the true value of the building is probably not achievable under this condition, under this market right now. So the strategy is allow for this disposition of the sale of this asset to occur when the market is in a little bit better shape so they can preserve the value that they really believe it is, and also allow for more reinvestment into the Playhouse Square District and some of their new capital projects. So again, right now we have a $5 million loan balance with a current maturity date of September 13th, 2025. So we will not need a second rules under suspension for second read. We can go all the way to August 5th. And again, the modification is simply no additional funds, just 3 more years after the payment of $3.5 million. So that $1.5 million will be amortized over 3 years at 8.5%. And again, I believe some of the projects, but I defer to our guest, Mr. Nathan Kelly, who's the president of real estate, on where they're going to utilize that cash for the existing projects here in downtown. From a debt service perspective, the project is performing significantly, and I think one piece that's vital to mention is this loan is secured by a pledge and assignment of the endowment fund, which is then governed by a control agreement, which gives the county, the Department of Development, myself as a portfolio manager, keep tabs on that statement all the time. It's over $17 million. We have a first position lien on that and are in complete control of that. So our loan-to-value ratio is at 8.8%. Very safe. No liens in front of us on that. From an underwriting perspective, debt service coverage, we're at about a 1.6 based on the existing versus outstanding debt. Any questions for me, or would you like the guests to step up?
Any question for Mr. Edwards?
So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Edwards, you mentioned about a property sale being deferred so that it can wait for the proper market conditions. What property is being sold?
So what I'm talking about is the actual Lumen development project. That's always been the goal, was to develop it, bring it to a stabilized value, and then offload that so that it could be, the money could be paid off the loans, the senior note, and then allow more opportunities for Playhouse District to keep reinvesting in the district.
So the idea was to develop this project and get it up and running and then turn it over to private control to be managed.
Nick can speak to that more clearly, but that is typical in real estate development of these types.
Good afternoon. I'm Nathan Kelly from Playhouse Square Real Estate. Councilman, the original plan for when we developed the Lumen several years ago was that we would build it and then sell it and retire the debt that we owed to the county and any other debt upon its sale. COVID and interest rates changed the performance of the asset and our ability to sell it at a number that we'd like. So we've delayed the sale. Nonetheless, we've made good on all of our debt payments, including this one to the county. We paid $5 million off last year. And this year, we're seeking to extend the term for the last $5 million. Brian had mentioned part of the reason why is because we recently bought the Greyhound station. Greyhound is still operating there, and we endeavor to develop that entire block. If we're able to delay the full payment of the $5 million that Playhouse Square owns to the county, then we're going to use that money to start the pre-development work of the Greyhound station. So this way we're able to bring that to a productive property use faster. Otherwise, we would wait and continue to pay off the $5 million, but we would end up delaying the development of that other site.
So, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Kelly, follow-up question. How far short is the value of the building below the target number under the current market conditions? Are you talking about 10% less than you have in mind, or 20% or 50%, or what are we talking about?
So we're in a good position. It's hard to answer that question directly. We're in a good position on the asset. It is performing, and we're not losing money on it. But interest rates right now are high if we compared to what we had modeled it when it was built. To give you an order of magnitude, for every point that the interest rates come down, we would end up getting another $20 million in benefit on the sale. So right now, we feel like if we can continue to wait and see what happens over the next year or two, perhaps that could be a difference of between $20 and $30 million. And we need that both to retire the debt, but also because the vision was to build an asset that serves the district, but also if we're able to actually generate a profit on it, then it would go to the foundation, which goes on to support the historic theaters of which we are stewards, that were saved because of the county's initial payment of $1 million many years ago that allowed us to save those theaters.
So, is the basic idea that if the interest rate come down, then a prospective buyer can can pay a higher number in principal because the debt service is lower?
That's right. And you see that with other assets here. For example, there's another building on Euclid that has some debt that's coming up. And that property would probably prefer to sell, take the winnings and move. But there hasn't been a significant property sale to be able to set prices yet. So now we have to wait on on interest rates. The farther they come down, the more value the property is worth. We don't want to sell at a loss. I don't know that we're there. We're probably, it's probably close. But part of that is also during the tail end of COVID, we had to relocate 60 units inside the building because of a flood that was caused by construction error. And that has been fixed. Our occupancy is back to where it should be. The asset is performing. The debt is secured nicely, not just by, well, it's secured by our, by the endowment, so not by the building itself. So your funds are in a very safe place.
Okay, thank you.
Please note that Councilmember Turner and Simon are here.
Thank you.
Would you just step back for a second and explain what the Lumen is for those that
Sure.
are listening?
Sure. The Lumen is the tallest apartment building in the state of Ohio, so I'm told. It is a couple hundred apartments that are just here on the corner of 17th and Euclid. It is a Class A apartment building. The idea of building the Lumen was Playhouse Square has a lot of activity at night. And the idea was to build a residential community between downtown and Cleveland State to fill in a gap so that there were more people that were around during the day that were residents that would take advantage of the district. That has been successful. And in fact, just in April, we opened another building that was a conversion of the Bulkley Building, which was an office building, now converted also to residential now across the street. And so the idea is that having that district helps us with not just visitor attraction, but with safety, and to help us with, we have 5 office buildings in the district too, to help with residents and make it another vibrant district downtown. And part of that is having, we talk a lot about live, work, and play, and so the Lumen is part of that live component.
And I believe Mr. Edwards said that it's 90% occupancy rate right now?
Correct.
How many apartments are there in there?
319.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Will the payments be made between September of 2025 and September of 2028? Or will there be a lump sum payment in September of 28?
Our first payment will be in September of 2025 for $3.5 million. And then I believe quarterly payments are what is requested of the debt schedule.
It's annual, P&I.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, excellent question. That, it's just annualized 3 years, so we will be getting about $587,000 annually in principal and interest reduction on this.
So it'll be an annual payment?
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yep. So we will not be deferring any payments or any interest or anything like that. And again, the last payment will bring the loan balance from $1.5 million to 0 on the maturity date. And as we hope, once the economy picks up, or does eventually, investors may be have a larger appetite for the acquisition of this building. When these things happen, they look for, what Nate was saying, sorry. But essentially just a high vacancy rate, stabilization, and it's a good asset, so.
So you mentioned the Greyhound Station project is that next on your list to do?
Yes, sir.
Are there other major projects that, along with that, or, what's coming up?
So the one that we'll be working on directly and on our own is the Greyhound project, which will be the redevelopment, the historic redevelopment of that building.
Okay.
We haven't yet determined how it will be used, but we know that we're going to be investing tens of millions of dollars into restoring it to its original greatness. We'll also be investing in streetscape improvements and in our garages and others to support moving north with the district. It's our hope that our development will encourage others to develop nearby, but we haven't yet committed whether or not we're going to do that ourselves or invite others to do it instead.
Okay, so the bottom line on this right now is to extend 1.5 million out over 3 years.
Yes, please.
Okay. Are there any questions from committee? Ms. Simon?
Thank you. Good afternoon. What is the history of occupancy? I heard today it's about 90%.
Yep. So occupancy, the building was delivered during COVID. Occupancy climbed and climbed and climbed to about 90%. About a year and a half ago, there was a flood that made it so that we had to relocate about 60 of the units. That dropped our occupancy rate down considerably. Starting in October of 2024, we started to see that number climb again after now we had restored the units that were flooded. Unfortunately, the people that we relocated didn't move back. Moving's a pain. But we paid to relocate all of those residents because we're a different kind of landlord than typical. Relocated them, they didn't come back. So when we went to the market then, we were able to bring that occupancy up. Right now, our leased rate is 95%, and our occupancy rate is 90%. So what that means is we already have leases for more than are currently occupied, so we'll expect that occupancy number to go up. We did have to reduce the rental rates. One of the things that you'll see citywide is there's been a softening in residential rental rates. So that's a good thing for consumers. It's a bad thing for your bottom line. But that is the only other change that we made besides investing in marketing and being more creative about how we're engaging people. I would add that this happened when a whole bunch more inventory has come to the market. You've seen the Bell has come to the market. Skyline 667 has come to the market. It was called the City Club some time ago. So the Lumen is continuing to perform. The market is improving residentially. So we're optimistic both on downtown residential in particular, but then also for the Lumen specifically.
My concern has always been this downtown residential investment from the county and otherwise is converting all these office buildings into living space is a bubble. Do you think that that is part of the reason the softening of the market we're seeing is actually happening?
Well, I think first we need growth, generally. Growth will solve a lot of things, not just in residential. We need it for our workforce. We need it for many things.
Nate, growth, county growth, city growth,
Yes.
yes.
Yep, our growth has been flat, right?
Yep.
Particularly in the city. I think that adding more inventory, more residential inventory is a risk. However, the conversion of office real estate to residential real estate is a safe bet, or has been a safe bet. Cleveland has been a leader in doing it for about the past 12 years. Other cities are now trying to catch up because the demand for office real estate has plummeted. It is very, very soft, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of optimism about office demand. We own 5 office buildings, so I see it firsthand in what we're dealing with, and we're really good landlords. I think we're a little bit off topic, but you got me talking. So many of the Class B properties in Cleveland right now are in receivership or in a state where the bank is monitoring whether or not the property is cash flowing. And Playhouse Square can't be in that position. You know, we have to continue to invest. We can't walk away from properties. And there are properties that are doing very well that are also in receivership because companies over-leveraged or, you know, took out too many finances. So a lot of those properties are challenged. Our portfolio is not in that spot, but we're long-term. We can't leave the market. We're dedicated. So that isn't going to change. In fact, we converted another one of our office buildings into residential and delivered it just in April.
I guess we lucked out with COVID on that regard because we started converting when you were here.
Yeah.
Right. And now that just
Well,
totally,
this building, right next door.
yep,
It's
exactly.
one of the first, yep.
And
Thank you.
This was new construction as well, the Lumen project, so it was built specifically for residential, so not.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair.
Sure.
Thank you. I was wondering if Mr. Johnson could, I'm looking at page 11. Who spoke on behalf of DLD Development?
Brian
Oh,
Edwards.
okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, this is a learning moment for me. I'm
No
looking at
problem.
page 11 and where we're talking about the recommendation made.
Can you refer to which document you're? Oh, you're talking the term sheet? Is that the term sheet or the loan write-up?
Yeah.
CCIC recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so I'm talking to a constituent,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to explain this premise. When we're talking about liquid assets, marketable securities, and project cash flows being sufficient enough to cover the debt. Can you paraphrase that for me?
Sure. Through historical underwriting and seeing where markets are going right now, the existing debt they have on hand with the bank as well as the county, based on their revenues coming in historically and going forward based on the leases they have, are more than sufficient to cover the extension, the payments due for the extension.
May I add?
Please.
Yeah.
One, the building can afford it. And two, you have access to a $17 million trust that you get to go and claim your money before we even default.
Clear. Thank you.
Very quick. We just never underwrite a loan based on solely collecting on the collateral. That's not our mission, so, but certainly, in this case, cash is king, and we have that, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have one more. Going back to the sale of the project when you're ready. Usually interest rates come down when the economy is soft and the powers that be have to lower interest rates to try to deal with that. But I presume that it would be hard to sell when the economy is soft. So am I right that you'd have to wait for a time when, number one, the economy is good, and number two, the interest rates are lower than they are now, and you would need that combination, is that correct?
That is one perspective. We may not sell the asset. The the plan for this property was 5 years ago, and the world is very different now. So while, if we do sell, of course, we would pay off all the debt. If we decide that we are not going to sell it because we want to control our neighbor or because it's generating enough revenue, then we would take that approach. We do operate a lot of commercial real estate, theaters, and shows. The residential component is a little bit out of our skill set. So we pay a manager, a third-party manager that operates that property. So our plan may change. But for now, the reason why we did not pay it off on the schedule that we said is because our plan didn't go according to plan.
If I could just add one thing, Councilman, President, Chairman. Economy, interest rates are all part of the big package. Anecdotally, what we've seen here in this market is what used to be sellable or refinanceable 5-6 years ago. A lot of lenders, especially in the capital market, are looking for higher stabilization rates than you typically would see. So it's definitely a mix of interest rates, things like that, but it's also purchasers' appetites getting more comfortable with where things are. They continue to see growth on this, then they may not say, okay, well, we need this 98% occupied for us to purchase this kind of. So excellent question, and unfortunately, there's probably 4 different answers for that.
Any other questions? All right. So this does not have to go to a suspension, right? We can go 3 meeting?
That is correct, with the third on August 5th, correct?
Okay, great. Then I'll make a motion to move this item forward to the full body of council for second reading. And can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, Madam Chairwoman.
Any miscellaneous business?
There are no other items for consideration today.
Thank you. In that case, we are adjourned. Thank you.